Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and I'm here to share a cute Easter Gnome card today. Hey everybody, so I'm using Jaded Blossom's Happy Easter Gnomie stamp set, their Easter Gnome tag stamp set, and then the matching outline dies that you can get, along with our Octagon dies. I'm also using a couple other things. I'm not sure why I didn't show them to you here, but I'll mention them later. And we're using Echo Park's Celebrate Easter 6-inch pad and some matching solids. So that is my image stamped onto Nina Desert Storm 80-pound cardstock, colored with Copic markers that will be listed on my blog. I also put a few little highlights with my secure white Jelly Roll pen and a number 10. And cut out, like I said, with the outline dies that go with that stamp. So I'm pulling out my stamp positioner here, and I used my anti-static powder tool, and I'm using Ink on 3's Juicy ink, and I'm just going to ink up my sentiment, Hoppin with my Gnomies, onto Paper Ink's black cardstock. And I'm just doing that over a coffee filter. And now I will melt that and detail white embossing powder from Ranger with my Marvy Heat tool. So, you know, easy stuff. There we go. Just going to wipe off any dust there. And then I'm using my Fisker's trimmer. I like this because it has that wire guide. And I'm just going to trim that out. So just close to the letters. There we are. I don't have the sharpest blade in this, so I will use a little trick to fix my edges so they don't look kind of ragged. I should just change the darn blade, but I don't know. I don't use it enough, and every once in a while it's like, oh, I should cut out a sentiment with this, but then I forget to put a new blade in. So this is cutcardstock.com Gemond Tyndalo cardstock. It's got a wood grain, it's craft, it's fabulous. So that's 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5 inches using my Martha Stewart scoreboard and my Teflon bone folder. This stuff is really nice. It's a nice weight for a card. So I went ahead and I cut out a strip of that paper from that Celebrate Easter Echo Park pad. And I believe it was like 2.5 inches wide. And there we go. And then I cut out the Octagon dies, one in white Paper Ink cardstock, and then the other two in solids from that Celebrate Easter Echo Park paper line. So I'm just going to trim off the overhang. There we go. And I chose the colors for these, for the layers from that background paper. So that die right there, you'll see, is the Jaded Blossom's mushroom dies. So what I did was I cut that smallest layer out of green or out of blue cardstock for the sky. Then I cut it again out of the other side, which is green. And then I laid the grass on top of it and ran it through my die cutting machine again, my Gemini machine, just so I could have a little layer for my little gnome. Now I'm going to add pink, just popping up the grass a little bit. And then I will add the white Paper Ink cardstock behind this. And then you've got some nice Octagon layers. So I just think it's fun. I don't pull these out enough. These are great from Jaded Blossom. So like I said, I did use the mushroom dies too. I just didn't mention it. I actually pull out the spring banner dies too a little later. So there we go, using my ATG tape, and I will stick that down to my card front. And there we go. And then that's my little gnome. How cute is he? Like I said, all the Copic markers will be listed on my blog. So now I'm pulling out one of these nail file sponges, and I'm just going to run it around along the edge to get the little hangers-on pieces, like the fuzzy pieces, off. And then it looks like it's perfectly trimmed. I'm going to use my foam tape from 3M. There we are. And then I will pop up my little sentiment in the upper right-hand corner of that Octagon. And then I'm going to use the same tape for my little gnome guy. There we go. Just going to trim that all off. Like I said, all my colors will be listed on my blog. This was colored a long time ago. So it's lucky that I was able to figure out what colors I used. But sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll just color. I color a bunch of images, and then I'll pull them out to, put them on a card later. So this is a nice, fast, and easy card for Easter, I think. There we go. So I'm going to put him up on my front of my card. So there's my spring banner dies. I'm going to use that small little bunny head, and I'm cutting that out of Paper Trink white cardstock. And I'm using my art glitter glue and a pair of reverse tweezers, and I'm going to tuck those like they're peeking behind the grass. So it's like they're, you know, hanging out with the gnome bunny. So we're going to stick those down in the grass, sort of tilting to each side. Kind of fun. And I'm pulling out my R20 marker, and I'm just going to add some R20 to the inside of the ears, just for fun. So nothing special. I do grab my Copic 0 blender marker, and I just kind of, you know, blur the edges a bit. There we go. And then that's about it. Like, this was a really easy card to make. There we are. Jaded Blossom has a lot of these great nesting dies in different shapes, and I just think that they look adorable on cards. Now I'm adding a little bit of a pink nose, just tapping that R20. And then I'm pulling out my glaze pen. That's a Sakura black glaze pen, and I'm just going to dot some eyes on these little bunnies. What the nice thing about those is, this marker or pen is it gives a little bit of dimension. It's shiny and it's got a little bit of dimension. So it just makes the eyes look really kind of bright and fun. You got to watch to make sure you don't smear that, because it'll smear. Got to be careful. So now I'm pulling out the Easter Gnome tag stamp set, and I'm grabbing one of the tag images, I guess sentiment images, whatever. It's sort of, you could stamp these on tag fronts on the front of the treats from Jaded Blossom on front of a card. I'm just going to put it as a sentiment on the inside of my card. And I'm using VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. Just making sure I don't have anything hanging on there. There we go. Using a stamp positioner, because I'm probably going to have to stamp this a couple times. And I'm just going to stamp this on the inside. Now, I'm not going to color it at all. I'm not doing anything funny with this. I'm just literally using it as a sentiment on the inside of my card. So there we go. And I'm just going to stamp it a few times. Make sure I get a nice, clean, clear sentiment. I really like that. Like, I like to use a stamp positioner for that for sure. And VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink is just works really well, I find, for sentiments and sharp images and all that. Now I'm just going to get the top of that. For some reason, because the magnet was there, it just wasn't letting me stamp that top. So there we go. So nice and clean and clear. So now I've got a 1-inch piece of paper from that same Echo Park Celebrate Easter pad. I'm just going to add that 1-inch strip, and I'm using my Stampin' Up! Pad underneath me there just to line it up nice and straight. So I'm going to put that about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom of the inside of the card. And I like it because it's got little bunnies all over it. It's perfect for what I've got, you know, perfect for the idea of the card. So there we go. And how cute is that? And I'm just going to grab a pair of scissors, trim off the overhang. And then there we go. So this is like a really simple card. And now I'm going to add on some Nouveau Crystal drops in Simply White. This is kind of my jam, right? And I'm going to add, you know, uneven numbers, you know, groups of 3, whatever, straddling the sentiment, straddling the image, all that jazz. There we go. And then you will have what I think is a good number of little crystal drops. So now I'm just going to quickly smack that to make sure that they settle. And then there you go, like a super easy Easter card. Super fun and easy. So thanks for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog to get inspired, the Jaded Blossom store, maybe to get your hands on some of these awesome goodies. And thanks for watching my videos. I always appreciate it. And hopefully we will see you soon in my next one. Bye, everyone.